I've been talking to women for over a decade about this stuff and asking them about it, and that's the biggest complaint they have is guys act so fucking weak. They act like a bunch of goddamn pussies. They don't know how to be men. It's because we've got this media, television, and movies that are constantly giving us this archetype of very effeminate men that act like women, that are all in touch with their feelings. And it doesn't mean as a man you never express your feelings, but when you look at what's presented to us in Hollywood, you've got these archetypes that are usually written by people that are writers, and a lot of these guys that are writing these shows, they're not successful with women, and so they write about things the way they think they should be. And so you get this image that's constantly presented to children when we're growing up, that boys are supposed to be weak and women are supposed to be strong and act more masculine. And when you look at people in the media, whether it's watching a football game or just people on the evening news, it's they've got this fucking facade and this persona, like the women especially, and they talk real deep and they look real serious in their face, and they don't act like women at all. I mean, look at some of our politicians. Look at, and I'm not saying I support either one, I'm saying look at a Hillary Clinton versus a Sarah Palin. Now, out of those two women, which one acts more like a woman, like a feminine, sexy woman, and which one acts more like a man? I mean, just look at D.C., look at Washington. What do you typically see? Women that are very feminine and take care of their bodies, they tend to grow their hair long, they tend to be in good shape. But women that are unhappy or that are in unhappy relationships, what do they tend to do? They tend to become overweight, they stop wearing makeup, they butch their hair. You know, the hair style that they have, they don't have long hair anymore. They pretty much look like guys, and they act like guys. Why? Because the minute they're married to or that they're in relationships with are so effeminate, and they don't know how to take the control and direction in a relationship. And so what happens is the woman has to make up for this by getting into her masculine. And because the man, instead of being as masculine, is kind of floating back and forth between being a man and basically being a woman, the way they act in a relationship. And over time, the woman hardens herself to this, and she basically gets so used to being in her masculine in the relationship that the polarity is totally gone, and neither one of the two are attracted to one another or have sex. I mean, I can't tell you the number of guys that I've talked to and coached over the years, or friends that I have had that are married, and they've been married and they haven't slept with their wife in 5 or 6 years. And since they're married, they're not sleeping with each other, and since they're in an exclusive relationship, they're expected to be faithful, they're very religious or whatever, so they're not getting sex from their wives, and they're not getting sex anywhere else, and so they're pretty unhappy and pretty unfulfilled.